Where is Hey, what is going on here? Come on, we got a show right now. Let's go.
Oh, come on.
Good morning, Grizzlies. I'm Henry.
And I'm Julian.
Our first story takes us to the Middle East and a continuation of a story which has been running for nearly 6 months strong. In addition to their fight with Hamas in the west, Israel is exchanged shots with Syria on their northeastern border. However, in what many consider to be an escalation of the conflict, an alleged Israeli airstrike struck the Iranian consulate, killing 7 military leaders. Iran is a major power player in the region and has sworn, quote, punishment and revenge on Israel. This story has a great chance to escalate, with U.S. support being shaky at best for an all-out war with Iran. Speaking of the United States, President Biden has fully condemned another set of airstrikes, this time not targeting military targets, instead targeting aid vehicles. Yes, I said aid vehicles. Drone footage of the airstrike shows near surgical, car-by-car striking of the vehicles which were clearly marked with the World Central Kitchen logo. Many in the Western world consider this to be a step too far for Israel, as American and British civilians were killed in the strike. Staying in America for this story, on March 26, a nearly 1,000-foot-long ship crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore. There were reported 6 dead, mostly people who were on the bridge at the time contact was made. Sources say that the ship had fallen below maintenance standards, actually being banned from an Australian port 3 years earlier for violations of labor. The collapse was sudden and unexpected, but at times like this, it's important to remember that tragedies like this happen, and the best way to deal with them is to examine the mistakes that led to them and change for the better. For a significantly darker story, or lighter, depending on where you are, a solar eclipse is coming to the United States. While we in Oregon won't be able to see it, the path of totality, where the sun is completely blocked, will cross at least 13 states in the south and east. Well, I think that's pretty cool. Off to local.
Thank you, Henry. An interesting event in Portland, a local man named Shane Remsch dodged a saw blade coming towards him. While Shane was entering his Quick Trip neighborhood market, he watched the saw blade roll towards him from a nearby construction site. He had heard shouting and a loud bang and saw it rolling towards him. Fortunately, Shane was able to duck under a counter while the 4-foot saw blade kept rolling towards him. Recently after the event, he remarked, "I need a beer." In other news, unfortunately, there was a stabbing on the MAX train in Portland, Oregon, on Friday the 29th at around 6 p.m. Thankfully, they caught the stabber and identified him as Shondell Lamar Larkin. Shondell is now being charged with murder and unlawful use of a weapon. Apparently, Shondell had thought the victim was going to kill him, but documents prove that Shondell had lunged at the victim without the victim actually being threatening. He came out and stated he had a mental illness and assumed everyone was out to get him since Shondell is a convicted sex offender. Now some news at our school. Are you in an AP class? Well, if you are, AP testing is coming up on May 6th to the 17th. Make sure you start studying soon. In exciting news, there's the spring ballet coming up on April 5th. It's open to all grades. Tickets are $5 and it will be from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. in the food court. We hope to see you there. In other news at our school, exchange students have been coming from all over. French exchange students arrived on March 28th and German exchange students through the GAP program arrived April 4th. Coming up soon is an interview with one of these exchange students in the GAP program. Now sending it over to Camden with sports.
Thank you, Julian. What's up, sports fans? We have a couple of big things to cover today, starting with the NCAA D1 March Madness tournament. We've officially reached the Final Four, and it's going to be a showdown. On Friday, the Women's League plays in Cleveland. The NC State Wolfpack face off against the South Carolina Gamecocks, and the UConn Huskies go up against the Iowa Hawkeyes. On Saturday, the Men's League plays in Phoenix. The Purdue Boilermakers face off against the NC State Wolfpack, and the Alabama Crimson Tide clashes with the UConn Huskies. Can't wait to see who comes out on top. On March 31st, multiple games kicked off for the opening week of Major League Baseball. The Seattle Mariners lost to the Boston Red Sox in a 5-1 blowout, and the San Diego Padres dominated the San Francisco Giants with a 13-4 game. The Oakland Athletics, Chicago Cubs, LA Dodgers, and Arizona Diamondbacks all saw great victories as well. Here's to a great season for players and fans alike. Also in MLB news, designated LA Dodgers hitter and pitcher Shohei Ohtani hit his first home run this season. However, while Shohei did put on a show, a whole different scene went down in the stands. After the 430-foot slam, a longtime Dodgers fan caught the ball, but didn't hold on to it for long. Per custom, the fan communicated with the Dodgers staff and ended up handing the ball over for compensation in the form of merchandise. Allegedly, however, the Dodgers staff may have dealt with the situation in a quote-unquote manipulative manner. The fan later stated that the Dodgers staff forcefully isolated her from her husband and pressured her into a quick deal with the ball. Along with this, while Ohtani's interpreter Will Ireton communicated that Ohtani spoke with the fan during the altercation, the fan denied having interaction with Ohtani, further adding to the complexity of the situation. This is a developing story, and we will inform our audience of any major updates to come. Now, over to Jesse with entertainment.
Thank you, Camden. The rapper P. Diddy has been accused of sex trafficking. He is facing multiple lawsuits from women alleging that he either assaulted, abused, or trafficked them. P. Diddy has denied all the allegations. 1 week after the allegations, 2 of his homes were raided by federal agents. They seized firearms and phones. 2 of Diddy's sons were put in handcuffs on March 30th. And on March 30th, Chance Pedromo passed away. He was most known for his role on Gem V. He was in a motorcycle crash that ended his life. Thoughts and prayers to his family. The Ghostbusters Frozen Empire came out in theaters in March. It follows the grandkids of Spangler trying to take down another foe from the underworld. Another movie that is coming to the theaters is Roadhouse, a movie featuring Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor. Gyllenhaal plays an ex-UFC fighter returning to the sport, sending it back to the desk.
Oh, well, you ever had an exchange student?
I have, the beginning of this year, from France, named Emmy. Have you?
No, not personally. You know, our house is way too small, but you know, we actually have an exchange student in this house of a class. You know, we had an Italian exchange student a few years ago. His name was Pablo. He was a great guy, very Italian. All right, speaking of exchange students, let's go to the interview.
Thanks, Henry. Hello, Grizzlies. Today I'm here with a very special guest. This is Tuna, one of the GAP members on the German side. So, starting off, why don't you just tell us a bit about yourself?
I'm Tuna. I'm 15 years old. I'm in the 9th grade now, and I'm happy to be a part of the GAP program.
And you've been, you stayed some time in New York, and now you've come to Oregon, right? So, from what you've seen, what are some comments and just differences you've seen in America compared to in Germany?
Like, it's a little more chaotic, and everything is bigger than in Germany. But I think the people are pretty the same. Yeah.
Awesome. And I know you've only been at the school for a bit now, but what are your thoughts on that compared to the German ones?
I think it's easier because like my first lesson was microbiology. A friend of mine and me played Mario Kart in the lesson. Like in Germany, if we would do it, I think we get arrested. Yeah.
And what are some things you're excited to do while you're in America?
I just want to see how the life is here, and yeah.
Do you have any closing words for this interview?
I'm very happy to be in this program, and yeah, have a nice day.
Well, thank you very much for just taking some time and talking with us. All right. And now, back to the desk.
What a great interview.
It was.
All right, I think that should be everything we have. All right. Well, I'm Henry.
And I'm Julian.
And this was Bear Club Broadcast.